Now we're on. So, hey guys, welcome back to the Cauldron Chat on a dark moon. Happy Cauldron Moon, everybody, and happy our guest stars. How we doing? What's going
The
on?
guest star.
What's going on, Rowan? And what's going on, Noah? How you doing today?
What's up?
Hello.
Thank you for being with us tonight again.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
So, Rowan is busy a little bit, but tonight
Yeah, I'm still here.
we're talking on all things astral projection, remote viewing, lucid dreaming, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
Yes. Very fun topic.
Yeah, very wild. Um, I'm gonna just start off with what do you guys what do you guys opinions on what's the difference between astral projection, lucid dreaming, and remote viewing? If you guys have any opinions or like what the differences on that sort of thing.
So I say that astral travel is like it's a state of mind, like you have to like get into like some sort of like meditative state or like a trance. So it's something you have to like try to achieve, right? And then lucid dreaming is something that happens when you're asleep, like you're in a certain like sleep cycle, right? The way that I learned about lucid dreaming is that like you have to get into that REM sleep where like your body is in like that paralysis state, and you it's like you in your dream you like realize you're dreaming, right? And it can happen from the gate, like when you start the dream, or it can happen like in the middle of it, like you're dreaming and then all of a sudden you're like, I'm dreaming, and then
Yeah.
you're just, I love lucid dreaming. But yeah, that would be my difference between the two.
What about remote viewing?
I don't really know too much about remote viewing. I know I've done it before, but I couldn't necessarily define it. What do you guys think?
I define it totally different.
Okay.
Um, it does incorporate a little bit of meditation in the beginning to get your mind to like link to a certain place, person, object. That way you have like an anchor point.
Mhm.
So and I say that very loosely because like some people can do it. I have to have an anchor point.
Mhm.
Either a connection with the person, the place, or the whatever I'm trying to see or look
Mhm.
for or whatever. And it's not, I can do it awake more than I can do it asleep.
Mhm.
I don't think I've ever done it asleep. But like while I'm in waking state and I'm in control of my body and I'm in control of my mind and my eyes. So it does take some practice, and it does take like honing that little part of the brain that really can tune in and focus,
Mhm.
which is very hard for a lot of people. But once you do it and you get comfortable doing it, you can kind of drop in and do it not automatically, but it doesn't take near as much effort. It's just
Okay, when you start doing it enough.
you're there. But
I love that. I think that's extraordinary. I wish I could do that.
Would you say it's kind of like a grappling hook? You throw out a feeler and it just like slings you towards it?
similar. It's more like, so if I close my eyes and I have a place I want to go, or if somebody's needing me for something,
Mhm.
whether I've been there or not, the person is the anchor. So it's like not viewing through their eyes.
Mhm.
It's almost like a drone. You kind of drop in like a drone, and
Yeah.
you can kind of just like, you know, and Alex, sometimes Alex will type for me, especially in the beginning of the thing, because I used to not be able to communicate while I was doing it. Now I've gotten to a point I can communicate while I'm doing it.
Mhm.
Before I would have to be in total darkness, total silence, and Alex would be my typer to whoever I was trying to talk to, and he
Mhm.
would just type out exactly what I say. But he said I move my head like a drone. Like
Whoa,
my
okay.
eyes are closed and I'm just like looking around, trying to
Mhm.
like look at things or whatever. And he said it was very odd looking, but now I don't have to do that anymore.
So when you first started astral projecting, like, can you walk us through like the process to get to that point, like out of body?
You're asking me?
Yeah. You intrigued me. I'm just like, okay, because It sounds like you've had a lot of experiences. So I'm like, kind of okay. How did you get it going? How did you start?
With astral meditation,
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
And I started trying to do astral in waking life.
Hmm.
And I used to as a child without any warning. So now I try to focus more in my sleep
Hmm.
because I can't. It's very hard to disconnect in an astral level while you're awake. At least for me, ADHD is a real problem. So, like if I focus in on something, okay, it's like okay, ADHD was a perfect example. So you know how most people with ADHD they can't focus on anything unless it catches their attention,
Hmm.
and then they can hyper focus and hone in on whatever it is and master a skill in minutes.
Hmm.
It's like that.
Okay.
But in astral, I never could really get there. I could do it, but I didn't have the same control, and it is a little bit more problematic, at least from my experience. Now, there are some people that can do it without any
I
issues,
believe that.
and I wish my experiences with that was more controlled and a lot
Hmm.
easier. But lately, I find that it is a little bit harder for me lately.
Hmm.
But the remote viewing, I can just like boop,
Yeah, you,
most of the time
yeah.
with most people. I will preface it with that.
I haven't seen a time you failed. So,
Well, no, not with you,
huh?
not with you, and sort of not with Rowan.
Kevin, have you astral traveled before or astral projected?
Yeah. So I astral project. I would sometimes back then lucid dream because, like, to me, astral projection is when your spirit is able to leave your body
Hmm.
and you're in the astral world, while lucid dreaming happens in the dreams in the
Hmm.
dream world.
Hmm.
And remote viewing, I've never done. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it a little bit. But as far as I can make out a definition on what it is, and definitely let me know if I'm wrong. But it's kind of like with astral projection, your spirit leaves your body. With remote viewing, your mind leaves your body.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like you're mentally there, you're not spiritually. Like your spirit is not there.
I feel like I've done remote viewing without trying to. So like
Yeah.
years ago when I was in California driving my commutes like to and from work, I
Mm-hmm.
used to always say like this is my meditation right now because my body kind of goes on autopilot. Like I already know how to get to work and I'm like just staring beyond, right? And so like I would go into those states. And so I used to be able to see like my nephews and my nieces. And so there was this one time where I was driving to work and I see my nephew choking. And so I seen it like it happened. It was like right in front of me. So I reacted and I came back to and then I called my sister. I'm like, is so and so okay? And they're like, what's going on? And I'm like, I just seen him choking right now. They're like, oh my God, he was choking on pancakes earlier. I'm like, what the heck?
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh wow!
So yeah, that was like my first experience. And so I did it without trying to, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
When I was talking to Nicole a lot, she would go out on job sites.
Mhm.
And there was one time I was driving, just like you, and I all of a sudden, now, mind you, she's in Arkansas.
Mhm.
Kevin's in New York, Rowan's in Florida. Okay, so it doesn't really have a boundary. It's the connection with the person.
Mhm.
And I was in the basement while she was checking some I can't remember. She was at a job site checking pipes or something, or there was pipes involved. I think she had to go and check to make sure like a pipeline was off.
Mhm.
And this dude was creeping up on her. And I was like, bro, I had to pull my car over and I had called her and I was like, yo, I need you to like be really aware. Now she can handle herself.
Mhm.
She's not a weak girl. So, but like it kind of scared me because I was driving and then all of a sudden I was in like a basement. So, and she's like, it's probably nothing. And I was like, you want me to tell you what's right now? What's in your hand right now? Like,
Mhm.
and I did. And she was like, oh, shit. And sure as we were speaking, he was coming down the stairs behind her.
Oh my goodness.
And his intentions were not good. But she turned around. She was immediately aware of him and she got real defensive and everything worked out. It was fine. But it was just like instances like that. Like, you really don't have control. It
Mhm.
just happens.
Mhm.
There was one time I was driving again, same thing. I was highway, and there was a there was a spirit, some type of entity that was in the car that I was trying to banish from the car, but I'm mid highway.
Mhm.
I had something in the car. Long story, but when I felt resistance is when I questioned kind of like what was in the car, and I was kind of like battling that entity, and then I had a vision of the semi truck driving next to me cut off into my lane and almost like hit me,
Mhm.
all that. And I thought it was a like distraction tactic, so I just kept focusing on what I was doing. And like
Mhm.
5 seconds later, that exact thing happened. But because I
Wow.
saw it, I was prepared to stop quicker than
Yeah.
if I didn't see it.
Wow. That's insane. That's so crazy. The things that we're capable of, without even like realizing.
I love being a witch.
Me too.
I write that in my journal sometimes. I'm like, I love you.
I love
Some
that.
crazy things will happen. Our girl here, Crescent, she managed to get her butt into my house because I was missing some candle dyes. I told her,
Mhm.
and she found them in a matter of minutes.
What? That's
She told me
cool.
the exact spot where they were, and I looked, and I was very
That's so awesome. I love that.
yeah.
Poor
And
April always
I
has
put that in my journal, and I was like, I love being.
Oh,
poor April has such a hard time when it comes to my house.
I
oh
do.
my goodness.
I can get into his shed, but it gives me a headache for 2 days.
Oh, it's because he's the supreme.
Mm.
Yeah.
Speaking of the supreme, when's the last time you did the Shensum, Rowan?
The Shinsum?
Mhm. He's like this morning.
The night of the Great Ascension.
Oh.
She's
Wait, so no
like,
astral traveling?
Okay, over there.
it's not something that I really, not something really that I delve
Okay, so
into,
your video and audio are like lagging.
really.
Well, for me.
Yeah. Go back in your room or something, or wherever you were.
No, because it's,
I mean, I can hear you clearly. It's just that like you sound like one of the Japanese movies with like the English voiceover.
Oh yeah,
my
there
wife,
is a lag a little bit. Yeah.
Like for all of us or just him?
No, I
No, I
saw it
noticed it
Okay.
before.
too.
I didn't.
well, my Wi-Fi just connected back, so
Okay.
Oh,
how is that?
A little pixely, but
yeah,
no, you're good. I feel clearer now.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
but yeah, it's not really something that I delve far into. It just never really caught my attention until these two started talking about it.
Y'all are good influences.
Well, he ain't done that. He don't want to do nothing. He ain't trying to do
You don't
nothing.
want to meet us in the astral world. That's okay. It's okay.
Aw. Teach me how to do it, and I'll meet you in the astral world.
No,
We have
we need. If there was a way to teach it, that would be amazing.
Exactly.
Yes. So I did
Oh,
try. This was like 11 years ago when I first went myself back into witchcraft when I was like 23. Because I've done it, like I said earlier, I've done it without trying to do it. I remember I was in a meditation, I was laying in my bed, and was looking at myself from the door in my room. I was looking at myself laying down, and then I turned around, I opened up the door, and I walked out to the hallway. I seen everybody in the living room, nobody could see me. I went to the kitchen, like it was a whole experience. And I'm just like, oh my God. But I wasn't trying to do that. I was just trying to meditate. So the time that I actually tried to do it, what I was like researching and learning was like, you have like, that's how I learned it, was like you have to be into like a meditative state, and at a point you just kind of like get up without getting up, like you just come
Mhm.
out of your body. And so as I was doing that, like I felt myself rising out, and then somebody was just like no, and I like snapped back in, and after that I was like so afraid, I never did it again.
So, with that being said, was that your first time or not?
That was my first time trying, and I never did it again.
All right, so I gotta ask now, what was y'all's first time? My first time was years ago. I was a child, and I had a fever, and
Hmm.
I was in my bed, and I had my laptop up, and I was watching Harry Potter.
Mhm.
And I started the movie. It was all good, but then I fell asleep. But then I felt my spirit hover right above my body, and I was just watching the movie the whole time.
That's
And I
cool.
was fun. And then I went back in my body, woke up, and it was the end credits. And
That's crazy.
I did that a few times because it was when I discovered it, I was like, let's see if we can do it again with a few other movies, and it worked every time.
Hmm.
So that was just weird.
I love that. Not you watching Harry Potter in your astral form.
What about you, Crescent?
I was a kid,
Yeah.
like at my grandmother's house, and I was asleep, and then all of a sudden I was outside above the houses in the tree line,
Mhm.
just fucking whizzing away. Excuse my language, sorry. Um, and I recall seeing things that I later told my mom that I saw, and she didn't believe me because I'm a
Okay.
stupid kid. What do I know? I'm just dreaming. But I told her everything we saw, and she acknowledged that I did see them, but she would never acknowledge anything past that. She
Mm.
didn't want to deal with it at that point in time. And
Right.
I also used to sleepwalk a lot. My Wi-Fi just tanked on me, so if I lose this, I'm sorry. Um, she just at that time she wasn't into everything that
Mhm.
she was into now, but she just didn't want to hear it. So I didn't say anything anymore after that. But I think I was probably like 6 or 7, maybe. I know it was staying at my grandmother's for the summer. It was when my mom picked me up that I said, "Oh, I've seen this, this, and this," but I saw it from like this perspective, not like on the ground.
Hmm.
And that
So
was
young. It's so cool though.
Yeah.
yeah. But I wasn't trying. I just kind of like did it.
Yeah. Now, what do you guys think the benefits of these three are, or what the point of it is, or like what you can do, like why use it?
Again, Noah.
I feel like it's really broadened my beliefs and reality, like everything, because I don't see anything like 2D anymore. Like it's not just physical, like there is metaphysical, you know. I've never been a person to I'm only going to believe it if I see it. I feel like if I believe it, I'm going to see it. And so since I'm so open, I'm able to experience all these different things. And so my first experience, like I just shared with you guys about astral projection, I wasn't afraid of it. I was like, this is so cool. I would love to do it again. So I try to learn, right? Lucid dreaming is my thing. I can't do it like, I can't switch it on, but it happens so often and I love it. And I try to stay in the dreams as long as I can. And when I wake up, it's like so vivid, like it happened. It's basically like my own, like inception. Like I get to create that world, and so that's why I'm like, it's enjoyable. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I think
um, I feel like we can use that in when our woke state too, because um, in our dreams we're able to like wield, right? We're able to like bend reality, but in our lives we're also able to do that to some extent. Like we have magic, we have energy, we have things like that.
I love
Yeah.
that.
What about
That's
you? I'm asking
Somebody's
you.
TV on.
I feel like I hear some chitter chattering, but I don't know who it is.
so, like you said, Noah, I definitely think like when it comes to astral projection, you can use that to amplify the workings that you do. Like if you want to do spell workings, go in the astral world, do it there. That would amplify because spell work is doing something in the physical
Mhm,
to reflect and ripple off in the astral world to come back in the physical.
mhm.
But if you do that work already in the astral, you're kind of cutting
Yep,
the journey halfway. You know what I mean?
agreed.
And it's very amplified. Like if you
Mhm.
ever seen Charmed, I'm a horrible person. I don't even watch Charmed. But
Stop.
there's an episode in Charmed where the Charmed ones are in limbo, and in
Yes.
limbo your powers are amplified. Like
Yeah.
people like Paige was able to just hold her hand out and instantly do what she wanted without saying
Mhm.
because they knew her intention. It's kind of like that in the real
Yep.
world. Remote viewing can be very useful in a lot of cases, even in emergencies, which we're going to talk about. But and kind of like how we described before, you can find things in remote viewing. You can do out whatever you need to do in other places and
Mhm.
see other things, especially if some shady stuff is going on. If you need to see enemies, I think remote viewing was used in war tactics back then. If it's not
Hmm.
still used today, and I know a
Oh,
lot of
I
studying
didn't know
goes.
that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh no, yeah. I think astral projection, but
Not to bring up a horrible person in history that was very against a certain race of people
people, but
in in the war, whatever. I don't. Can we say the name?
I
I
I
don't know
don't.
whose TV is going right now.
I
It's a
think
little
it's.
distracting.
No, I think it's
Oh,
James. But
I don't see why not, right?
okay. Well,
You
I
know,
mean, it's factual. So they've
it's
made.
education.
Yeah. Okay. So Hitler, unfortunately, was hugely into the occult, and I'm not giving this man any credit at all.
No,
But the research that he did back during World War II founded a lot of research that has been done since then on astral projection, remote viewing, all that stuff, because that was his. He was trying to get a leg up on all the other armies and in the conflict that he was in,
mhm.
trying to make sure he could be more strategic with placement of his
it's
people. So I mean, it's been it's but it's not really talked about because of course it's hooty dooty metaphysical shit that yes
that's
we're researching, yeah, but now there's actual fact and data to back a lot of it up.
yeah.
You guys are blowing my mind. I don't. I had no idea.
So
No,
if you go down that rabbit hole, be prepared.
We need Cauldron of Conspiracies to talk about it.
um. So yeah, what about you though? What do you think, Crescent, that you can like? What's the purpose and benefits of using this?
Benefits?
Yeah.
I'm great at finding car keys.
Rowan just texted us letting us know that something's going on at home, so he's
Uh,
going to be gone for the rest of the night. But we love him.
we love him, our supreme.
What the heck happened? I wonder. Okay.
Check the messages. Group chat.
Okay. Well, y'all two continue then.
Okay, yes. So anyway, um, have you noticed any type of side effects that could happen negatively or positively from doing these type of things? Like I think for me, my only side effect I can bring up is sometimes when I astral project, especially at night if I'm sleeping, I don't get a good night's sleep sometimes.
Um, I think if it counts as a side effect, like I feel like my emotions are heightened when I come out of it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So like it depends on what's happening. You know, like I'll either be like really joyful or I'll be really sad. I can be very angry or like full of adrenaline, just depending on what happens. So like
Like, your emotions are amplified.
lucid dreaming has I equate a lot of like when I explain it to that movie Inception. So did you
Mhm.
guys watch that movie? So you
Yeah.
guys know how like when they
There's
go
questions
into
that both of
that
that.
lucid state, they each have it's called a totem to
Mhm.
like tell them that it's their lucid dream and they're not awake, right? So like mine is like I'm able to fly, like I'm able to like lift off of the earth and fly, or like I wave my hand and like I create like rain or lightning or whatever. Um, Depending on what happens in those dreams, like I said earlier, it either starts off from the gate, like I know I'm lucid dreaming, or like I'm experiencing the dream and then I'm like, oh wait, I'm dreaming. And then my thing to make sure that I'm dreaming is okay, let me see if I can do this, you know. Um, when I come out of those dreams, like I said, I'm either like super like pumped or I'm like really sad, just depending on what happens.
No, right, yeah.
What was the question?
It's okay. Side effects. Do you think there's any side effects to
Oh,
doing any of these things?
yeah.
Well,
For remote viewing or my form of astral.
all things, whatever you got, all the side effects,
Okay, so
including diarrhea.
exactly.
And
Abysmal. Um, Honestly, okay, so remote viewing, nothing. I don't have any negative side effects unless something happens that I witness
right,
that would be emotionally damaging.
right.
Um, Astral is exhaustion a lot of times, but elation if things are if if something aligns the way it's supposed to, say a visit with someone or going to a certain place or accomplishing a certain goal, like all things in that manner, then
Mhm.
yes, I wake up pumped and I'm like, yes, finally, this A, B, and C got completed, whatever.
Right.
And what?
That's a right.
Yes, exactly. But I mean, do you want to get into negative side effects? Like negative side effects?
Go ahead.
Okay, so there, and I know that there are mixed opinions on this because everybody's experience is different. But like,
Absolutely. Our
yeah,
experiences, y'all's experience. My experience is her experience. Isn't his,
Mhm.
yeah. I've never been wounded per se, like physically, that's impossible. But I will be sore in certain areas after
That's interesting.
if certain things happen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I don't know what that's about. I just know that it does happen.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I kind of want to pick your brain for a second. So, like, have you ever seen anything scary in the astral realm before?
Oh yeah.
That was one of the
Like,
questions.
what? Like,
Um, so when you're in astral, you're not on this plane, and
Mhm.
you kind of have to. It's hard to explain. So you kind of have to. You're kind of traversing other planes to get to the because you're not in this or that.
Mhm.
So you can encounter things that aren't here necessarily, or human,
Like
or
astral nasties,
hmm.
like astral nasties kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't want to put a label on it because I don't know
What they are.
or
I
but
get you. Yeah.
you can feel the energy like yo, just stay away or
Hmm.
bypass, and I don't know if anybody ever gets like caught up in it. I've never been caught up in it, thank God. But it's kind of like a bad acid trip, and things that look normal melt away into something that they're not. It's like a revealing of I don't know how to explain it. Say you meet somebody, which is I don't know how often that happens for people, but like say you're actively trying to meditate to get to a certain area.
Mhm.
You hit these little pit stops where like
Okay.
either you gotta
Ooh, I thought of a perfect example. Did you guys watch the Doctor Strange movie, The
yes,
Multiverse of
exactly,
Madness? The
exactly.
little girl? Yes.
That's exactly like
Okay.
that. And whoever wrote that knew exactly what they
No.
were talking about because you do run into things and you can be affected by things, but there again, as a witch, you have to have certain protections in
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
You have to have your bubble secure. That way, you know exactly what to do and how to get
Mhm.
out of it or have a maneuver around it, whatever. But yeah, you run into all kinds of things in there.
I'm still intrigued. Like, I like just knowing that I'm still like, okay, I want to do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, I mean it's just like anything. Nothing like walking outside. You have to be protected.
Yeah, there's scary things everywhere you go. Yeah, I get you.
Exactly. So it's no different. You know what I mean? You
yeah,
just have to
and
say
and it's not always a look. It's not always what you're seeing. It's what you're feeling.
feeling.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, a lot of things in the astral world are based off of like the feelings, the energy,
Hmm.
the mental power of what's going on. That's how you perceive things. And
I can
so,
understand. I can understand that. So, like with lucid dreaming, sometimes I feel like very vulnerable, especially like when I'm flying. Like I
Mhm.
know that I can carry myself, but I'm like at any moment, like my power could be gone and I can like fall. So, but I'm still doing it. You know what I mean? So I get you. It's that feeling.
Yeah, no, we talked about that because I had an
Mhm.
experience like that where I was good, but then for whatever reason I got shaken up and like I came to in the middle of not being
oh,
in yeah, and that sudden fall
Mhm.
scary.
and you pick it back up. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
not fun.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you guys think there is a difference between astral projection and astral travel?
I was going to ask you guys that.
Well, answer, Kevin.
Uh, so, astral projection, I think, is when you. It's just me, but is when you remove your spirit from your body and you're astrally in this world. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? In this plane. But when you astral travel is when I think you journey on to different worlds, different planes,
Absolutely
different
agree.
cosmos.
Absolutely
It's kind
agree.
of like journeying,
Mhm.
like what shamans do. There's a word for it. I'm not gonna butcher it, but the journeying aspect is like the astral travel aspect. That's when you're
Mhm.
traveling to other places, around
Yeah.
different worlds. whatever it is, astral projection, you're here in this world.
Yeah.
That's
I feel
not-
like what I did was astral projection because
Yeah.
I was still in the house. You know, still. It's just it's extraordinary. You know what I mean? Like I left my body and I was walking through the house like regular, and nobody else could see me, but I could see what they were watching on the TV. I could see what they were eating.
Yeah.
I could see what was going on in the kitchen. Like it was so amazing.
It really is a cool feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, have you ever astral traveled?
I feel like I kind of walk between because I can, you know, like I was saying, I can. For me, it's passing through different realms or different dimensions, whatever you want to call it. So
I mean, you did play the left right game, so you have.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah,
That's my favorite game.
yeah. And I cannot. I don't know. I got a great brain that can't spell or do math, so you know, but it can totally take off and go somewhere else.
Hey, you were spelling great last night.
What?
You were spelling great last night.
I know. I was on fire last night.
I love that.
Every 5 seconds. How do you spell this? Spell that. Yep, spell
It
that.
was like, ask me that crap today, and I'll be like, I don't know, man.
I don't know words.
Right? I don't know words. I don't math. I don't do any of that. But it's a unique experience.
Yeah.
So when you guys lucid dream, do you guys have like your own type of like totem that like makes you realize like, oh, I'm actually dreaming?
I can't lucid dream.
No,
I haven't lucid dreamed in a while. Okay, the rare times it did work, it was, and this is, and I argue with myself about it too, because when it did work, it was because I was trying to read something and I couldn't read it, and it would make me aware that I was dreaming. But I also know there's times when you're like in the illusion of a dream, you can read stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what it was that made me focus in and was like, can I actually do this? Than just being like, okay, I read it, continuing with it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That was my like trigger.
You know, I want to bring that up because I hear everybody say, "Oh, you can't read or you can't tell time."
But you
know,
can. But
I
you
can't. I have
When you-
never experienced a time. You know what I can't do? I can't
What?
fucking run in my dream. I can do everything else, but like run. If I need to run, it's like in mud.
So have you guys seen those TikToks where like people are like, this is how I run in my dreams, and they're just kind of like they're floating but they're running, or
Yeah.
like they make like one step and like they're not actually like landing, they just like keep going forward. That's how my dreams are. Like if I am like running and I lift up both of my legs, like I'm still going forward
Yeah.
in my dreams. That's
And
so
I don't-
crazy.
You know how it feels like to run in water?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's how it is for me. And I don't know if that's because I'm short, so I can't.
That's how it is when I'm fighting in a dream. Like I'm like trying to get
Oh,
all my
yeah.
might, and I'm just like going really slowly.
It's too fast for me in my dream.
Fast?
Yes, it's
What?
fast.
Okay, Flash.
Well, like it depends on the dream though. Like, because if I'm fighting, there will be dreams that I'm fighting, and it's like I am just punching through water. I cannot. But then there are other dreams that are extremely violent, and like I can feel everything in real time, and it is really aggressive.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's in real time. It's not sped up. It's not slowed down. It's like I'm doing exactly what I'm doing right now.
Mhm.
So I don't know what the frick that's about.
I love dreaming though. So you've never lucid dream. How about you, Kevin? You said it's been a long time.
Yeah, it was only once. I was in my school trying to read a sign, and then once I realized it was a dream, I walked outside. I imagined like a sports car pull up to pick me up with the door open. And the second I imagined it in my head, or imagined it in my head, it happened. And then I just went driving.
That's cool.
It was a cool dream. Yeah. How's that margarita?
It's great. Well, let me ask you this. You speak about totems, and Kevin, I'm about to share some of our business. But so you have a totem that lets you know what this is that.
Mhm.
So when we astral, we just have a designated spot. like, meet me here, and
Oh,
that's what we do.
that's cool. Okay.
So and then so when we get like we know we've been there, we know we succeeded when we're like,
Mhm.
you know, did you X, Y, and Z, you
Mhm.
know,
Do this,
and then
do
we know we've done
that.
I feel like the next level of lucid dreaming is like dream hopping, like being in a dream with someone, like realizing that I would love to do that, but I don't
it.
trust anybody enough to do that with.
Right. I would love
But
to do
yeah, I've heard of it. I've heard people's experiences, and I'm just like
Yeah,
glued to the screen when I'm like hearing them or watching them. I'm like dream hopping. I mean, I feel like that thing is kind of possible. Like, you know, it's there's people that will take it to like, you know, violating, like you're going into somebody else's dream without them
Mm,
knowing, that kind of thing. But there are people that are like, yeah, let's, like you just said, you guys meet up together. I think you
yeah,
can do that in the dream
yeah,
state too. I really do.
absolutely.
mhm.
But I have a book. I think it's called. I could be so wrong. Psychic Dream Walking, but that's basically all. That's what the whole book is about, and it's a great book.
You should share the link or the
The description, I will.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So let
So
me.
I've watched a couple TikToks where they're talking about astral traveling, and they're like, when you come across the beings in the astral realm, like don't ask them the time because that's how they realize like you're not supposed to be there, or something like that. And I always thought that was like pretty, you know, interesting to like think about because, you know, like but you also said about like you're going through other planes. Maybe it was a specific plane that they were in where you're not supposed to be there, and so she's
That's
like, don't ask them the
scary.
time. I would say in my lucid dreams, I've never really paid attention to the date or time. It's usually always like middle of the day. The weather's always gloomy. It's never like bright and shiny or like really dark. It's always just like midday with a nice overcast. But yeah, those totems, I'm telling you, like if I know, like if I'm dreaming that I can fly and I just kind of like rise, and it's such a cool feeling, you know. I wish I could do that in
Yeah.
life.
No, yeah. This is the book, Psychic Dream
Second
Walking.
walking.
That's the author.
Michelle. Oh, I know her. Well, I've heard of her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Michelle, what she's in the vampire community.
Okay.
Really?
She's
Yeah.
in our community.
All
No
right.
way.
Yeah.
So
Belanger. Michelle Belanger.
Yeah,
She actually has written several books.
I did not know that.
Um,
My
and she
friend
does
this is a great
Aiden,
fire.
um, I forgot his latest name. Aiden Darling. I think he went by something else before. But yeah, he's a
I know who
big
you're
fan
talking
of
about.
her. He's a big fan of her.
She's great. She does seminars. She does. She has a house that she does tours in that she restored. It's haunted. And she does like investigations or open readings. She's her YouTube channel is great, and she's such a down. She is very well known in the other kin vampire community, stuff like that,
Yeah.
because she is part of that community.
Mhm.
And but she's super nice. I've never gotten to meet her. She's
Mhm.
been, I think, at a couple functions I've been at, but I've never been able to like circulate around her. But she's actually really cool, and she has so much knowledge in her freaking brain. Like
Yeah.
it's amazing. But she's written several books. She does papers, and she does seminars and stuff and speaking events. She's nice.
I love that.
So that is a great book, though. She sounds awesome.
Psychic dream
Send me
walking.
that
Okay.
link though to her YouTube channel. I want to check that out.
What?
Send me the link to her YouTube channel. I want to check that
Okay.
out. Yeah.
Talk amongst yourselves.
So, question: how can you tell the difference between like what is? Maybe we kind of already answered this, but like the difference between like what is like how do you know it's lucid dreaming and not astral projection, or how do you know it's astral projection, not remote viewing? That makes sense.
Well, for me, I think it goes back to what I said in the beginning that for astral travel, I feel like I have to like put myself into that state, like a
Right.
meditative state, that trance state to get to there.
Right.
So I feel like that, but that was my definition because I haven't done it enough to be able to do it without doing that, right?
Right.
Whereas lucid dreaming is like I'm sleeping.
Sleeping. Dreaming.
My question for you guys was like sleep paralysis, like so when you guys are like astral projecting, have you guys ever been stuck in your own body and like like experienced sleep paralysis?
I've only experienced sleep paralysis once, and it was my mom's.
Yeah.
But
No.
what was it like? Did you see other things that like weren't there because you were you were like paralyzed? Because I've heard that before. Like people, I don't think they were trying to astral project, but I felt like because so we all do experience sleep paralysis when we're sleeping. So our brains go into this state. I think it's like the REM cycle where it like shuts down the motor abilities, because if they did it and we're dreaming, we're going to be running in the dream, we're going to be running in real life. That's why people that sleepwalk and stuff like that, it happens because they don't have that thing in their brain.
Isn't that
But
when the green wave goes into theta or alpha wave?
something like that, I don't know. But yeah, we're all you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, so like people that have experienced sleep paralysis are like, it is so scary because you feel like something's on your chest, like you feel really heavy, and you look up and you can't move your body, you can't move your fingers, you can't move your toes, you can't move your head. All you can do is like kind of move your eyes, and then you open up your eyes and you see like all these things that aren't there. And of course they say demons, you know, but I don't believe that. But anyways, but still, it's like still scary. So have you guys experienced that before?
Personally, no, thankfully. I keep my places protected as much as I can to make sure stuff like that doesn't happen. There was one time, and it was when I first started practicing witchcraft, that it was right after my first spell, because I didn't know how to cast a spell. I just went to the how-to, you know, not knowing what I'm doing. And when I cast the spell, my god sister had sleep paralysis in my bedroom. And something was pinning her down, some type of dark force, dark image, like suffocating her and on top of her.
Yes.
So after that, that's when I learned about cleansings and protection. And that's the first thing you should do.
Yes, agreed.
Mine was at mom's before I moved up here. I think they just had the house finished, and I was in the living room sleeping, and I think one of the boys was with me that trip, and I was dreaming, and it caught me off guard because I woke up mid it, I guess, attacking me. I don't know really what you call it, but like I was sleeping but awake, which that's a whole other topic of discussion. But like where you're between realms, you know, like you're awake but you're still asleep.
Yeah.
And I remember looking up, but I could not move my mouth. I couldn't move my arms. I knew something was there, but like I could not see it. I could just feel it.
Yeah.
And I remember like chanting in my head until the pressure like released off of me.
Wow. Okay.
And that I just kind of sat up and I gasped and I gasped and I gasped and I like almost threw up. And it's only happened to me that one and only time. And I never saw anything. My eyes were wide open because I was looking dead at my mother's ceiling.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I know, but I knew what was going on.
Right.
So I could go into protection mode.
Right.
You know, that shit was scary as hell.
I feel bad for people who don't know what's going on. They don't know anything about it. They've never heard of it, and then it just happens to them. That's horrible.
It's horrible. Yeah.
Terrifying.
Oh my god! If you heard of people getting, you know,
Stop. Yes. Do you guys think that these can be used in your witchcraft or magical practice?
Yeah.
We do it all the time.
How would you do it? How would you do it?
I mean, no, you know what? I've talked more than you this whole time.
I know.
Let's have some wisdom from you.
Okay, can it be used in your witchcraft and magical? Yeah, absolutely. Again, going back to just if you do anything in that astral world, whatever you're doing is amplified. I've done. There was one time I was sleeping, and I had a dream of putting a spell on someone, and it wasn't a nice spell. And I woke up and I thought it was just a dream, but then I saw on Hecate's shrine, she has deer teeth. You see the deer teeth up there? So,
it's above the picture frame.
Oh, I'm like, where am I looking? Because there's so much beautiful stuff on there.
like over.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, you see it? So on her shrine, I saw a tooth fell off, and the next time I saw that person, which was that day, that morning, I saw that person, and this person had a tooth missing, and so things I just know are amplified. And I've done other things for like healing works. There was one time years ago I astral projected to England to a hospital where there was a woman who needed a lot of healing. And I was just there kind of just hoping, like sending healing energy, not really doing anything crazy. And the next day I found out she was perfectly fine. Doctors couldn't find anything, and she was permitted the next day.
Nice.
So I know it's great for amplification, and I know it's something. Elaine McCoy, I think is her name, Elaine McCoy. She wrote the book about advanced witchcraft, and at the end of reading her book, I've kind of summed up that in some ways, advanced witchcraft would be witchcraft when you're in the astral world. You're kind of cutting that tie before the physical aspect. You're already in the astral world, sending directly to the physical level.
It's kind of like a slingshot. I just thought about that. So that's the best way. It's kind of like slingshot, but like a slow motion but fast slingshot, because you're aware of everything that's going on, but you're going at like hyper speed. But like your brain is able to comprehend everything you're seeing around you. So I just that.
Yeah, no, that's a very great analogy for it.
Yeah. What was
I've done spell work in lucid dreams before. So like usually like banishing stuff when I want to get rid of something. Okay. I'm pretty sure you guys have watched Harry Potter. So like a visual would be like when Dumbledore like pulled the memories out of his brain, right?
Yeah.
So like if there's something like that's weighing heavy on my mind or heavy on my heart, I kind of like do that. I'll pull it out, put it in like a jar, and I'll either like pitch it like out of the world or like I'll throw it into the ocean, just like and then I wake up feeling so much better, or like I start seeing it manifest in real life. You know what I mean? So it is really powerful. I remember there was this one dream where I had just a bottle, like it was like an empty bottle, and wherever I was at, and it's always in a house that's not mine. Like I vividly remember everything when I wake up, but like the house is not mine. I picked up a bottle and I like blew in it, and I like sealed it up, and then I just like tossed it out, and like it never like dropped to the floor, but I tossed it and I just kept seeing it fall like forever, endlessly falling. And those things manifest. They really do, because I won't touch it in real life. When I wake up, I don't cast spells for stuff like that. Right. I have come into my practice now where I really don't like practice physically, like at an altar to do spell works. I usually would just do it like in my mind or like chant or whatever, use energy with my hands and kind of cast that way. So when I see that I do it in a dream and I remember that I did it in a dream, I won't touch it in real life. I'm like, I don't need to do it now.
Oh yeah, it's already done.
But it's so powerful, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I need a detailed recipe on how to do all that.
I wish I could tell you how to do it. I just go to sleep. I love my sleep. You know what I mean?
I just need the shit pulled out of my brain.
I'm telling you, like, no, I will just sit there and like it just pulls out, and it's so crazy because I made it look like that, like it's like glowy and like drippy.
Yeah, like Harry
pull out of my brain or like pull it out of my heart. Like if I'm feeling like really depressed and like just fatigued, whatever, I just like pull it out of myself and then I bottle it up and I just chuck it. Like, and those dreams, like I said, you have superpowers. You chuck it and it like just outer space, man. Just throw it out.
Yep.
Or throw it in the ocean and just like it's gonna sink to the bottom, to the depths, and it's just gone. You wake up feeling so much better.
And I was gonna say, do you guys do anything to like induce any type of astral projection or lucid dreaming or remote viewing?
Some crystals. I've never like taken anything. I've heard that people like will drink like mugwort to help with that, or some sort of, I don't know if it's like a tea or if they just eat like laurel leaves, like bay leaves. I've heard that people divine with that. Like they'll eat one and then they'll sit in like in front of a mirror, like in the dark or whatever. But I know that can be done for lucid dreaming too. I've never done it though. Just crystals like labradorite is really good for helping to lucid dream. Apatite is another one. That blue, a really pretty blue one, is a good one for lucid dreaming. Yeah. Amethyst.
Crescent, anything for like inducing or making it like work better?
Well, I've been experimenting with certain things, smoking, not smoking, and then an oil, the flying oil that we made, and that seemed to do something, but I'm still like I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm blocked, and then sometimes I wake up and I don't remember anything,
Mhm.
and then later it'll come to me like in little chunks
Mhm.
Right.
that don't exactly make sense. But then if I have somebody there that can like fill in the gaps, then it comes a little bit better. And I like to write them down, but that's what I've done so far. And I used to use crystals, and I wish I could get back to that childlike state of wonder and just be able to do it and not think about it or worry about it. But the adult brain takes over, and you worry about everything when you're going to bed. So my
Yeah.
meditation sometimes is accessible. Sometimes I fall asleep before I'm even done with it. And
Mhm.
sometimes that'll work because I wasn't so focused. And then other times it won't do anything. So it's like I'm trying to hone that skill now since the remote viewing I've pretty much honed.
Mhm.
I have
So
a
I'm
few ideas that we could try later for astral projection as well. But I'm gonna
okay.
think about it. But I understand what you mean by things coming in bits and pieces, as we've discussed lately. Like we had an astral experience lately, and each day that goes by, I'm remembering different things
Hmm.
that happened that night. But yeah, so no, I agree with like doing any type of like spell work, witchcraft to help reduce it, flying oils or ointments, teas, stuff like that, smoking certain things if that's your thing or not. Um, but yeah, crystals as well to amplify meditation. You know what I mean? To focus on your intention and to do what you want to do. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that later then.
Yeah. Um, so, do you guys ever heard of the silver cord when it comes to astral projection, or have you ever witnessed?
Mhm.
I not until you brought it up.
Yeah, I've only witnessed it once, and I've astral projected enough times where like I haven't seen it. But
What is it?
it's said that there is when you astral project, there is a silver cord that connects your spirit to your body.
Oh.
Like when you astral project, it's not like the Insidious movie where people or entities, not people, but entities or spirits can inhabit your body while you're
Yeah.
gone. But there's that
Gotcha.
silver cord that keeps you connected and will always bring you back.
Mhm.
I feel like that's the same, just a different word for anchor, like an
Yeah.
anchor.
Anchor. Mhm.
Yeah,
That way you find your way back.
yeah.
Because I do believe in, and I feel like I read something years ago about the if a space is open, something will inhabit it,
Yes.
and that happening a lot. Minor possession, I think, is what it was boiled down to. But like, if you're open to a certain degree, I mean, you have to kind of expect if you leave, something's going to take your spot. It's no different than owning a daggum cat, and the minute you get up, that sucker's right in your spot. It's that
But it's warmy.
exactly, and I think that's how it's viewed. It's like, oh shit, it's warm and gooey. Let's go.
Mhm.
It's very interesting.
Do you guys think that this can be used? Any of these techniques can be used for emergencies?
Yes.
Hmm.
Can you get any examples for that?
Really? Oh, you were gonna get an
Nah.
She helped you find your key or your
Oh
dies.
yeah. And honestly, probably a few. She's definitely helped me find a lot more.
Yeah, those are just like small examples.
I
But
definitely feel like you can use remote viewing in emergencies. Like, if a kid gets lost and you really you know what I mean? Like stuff like that.
Right.
You're in a hurry, you need to find something, you can help somebody out. My nephew choking, you know what I mean? Like,
mhm.
I seen it after. I mean, I seen it, but like when I contacted them, they said it happened earlier. You know what I mean? But they were like tripping out the fact that like I called so randomly and asked, and I'm like,
Yeah.
just because I seen it, I seen him in the high chair, and I seen him like choking, and he wasn't making any noise. He was just kind of like, And so
Yeah.
they were like, yeah, we had to put our finger in and like pull it out. And I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. It's very good. And if we had it more, if people could hone their
Abilities.
yeah, because I feel like a lot of people have these little
Oh
talents
yeah.
that they just
Well,
don't.
So you guys remember that psychic Sylvia Brown?
Oh my god.
Okay, no, I know she's very controversial, but the way that she used to say that everybody has a telephone. and over time the reception from your telephone goes away, but you can always get it back.
Yeah.
And so everybody has these abilities that they can connect and
No, it's very true.
redevelop them, because when you're a kid you have them, you're completely open. I'm really a firm believer that kids have what we call in my family the innocence. They can see stuff head on, like it's there and then it's not there, like we can't see it but they can. And I
Yeah.
feel like we all started off that way, and as we start to develop and get older we just like lose it fades away. Some of them it stays, and that's those people that have like their psychic abilities and are able to just
Yeah.
it stays with them. But I feel like we're all capable of doing that, of getting them back. you know
Oh, yeah.
just takes
I feel like
time, I guess.
kids aren't. Corroded is not the right word. Corrupted.
Corroded.
So-
Corrupted.
I know. Look, man. I said that wasn't the right word.
I mean,
I'm
it's all
getting
it is all the conditioning. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because we're all. I'm not saying like any kids, but all of us. We're all conditioned from an early age to like everybody has to learn a certain way. We have to act a
Mhm.
certain way. We have to carry ourselves a certain way from things that we see on TV or magazines or movies. We're all taught, a curriculum in the U.S. the same way, and nobody learns like that. Everybody learns differently, different speeds, but they want to teach you the same way. So you're right. Like we're corrupted, we're conditioned, we're programmed. It is interesting to see kids that are homeschooled, how different they are. People that live off grid, you know what I mean? How different they are. What's going on?
Nothing. I got opinions. Just let my face. I gotta hide my face.
Cool. I was homeschooled for high school, you know what I mean? And like, I feel like I'm totally different. I don't feel like I'm very, what happened?
No, I had to homeschool Adrian for several years due to his autism, but I never mind. Some people. Okay, let me just get this out the way. I don't even give a crap. Okay, some people, you meet in life, and you're like, you were homeschooled because you don't have social skills.
Yeah.
You, hello,
Absolute skills.
you have social skills. You were taught etiquette. You were
Correct.
taught behavioral things. Where I see a lot of these people homeschooling, and these kids are insane.
Yeah, no,
Really?
I've known a few where that's my incident.
Say what?
They'll say that, and I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, that's why I have to hide my face, because I get opinionated, and it shows everything I'm thinking, and it has nothing to do with like you specific. Like you were homeschooled for a little while.
Mhm.
We're still friends. I still talk to you. It's not a problem. But there are some people I have encountered in my life very recently that it's just like,
I get you. I get you. I mean, though I feel like you can still be in school and still be like that. You know what I mean? Like,
yes,
there are
They are.
percentages of each side. You know what I mean? So I get you. I was just to be more in terms of like the differences of like how their minds work as opposed to somebody who's in school, where you're like, there was this picture that stuck with me when I seen it on Instagram many years ago, where there was these kids that had like these beautiful shaped, like they're different shapes, like like the word bubbles, like from the comics. So every kid had like a different shaped word bubble, right? And they're in line, they're in a single file line going up to their teacher, and their teacher is taking scissors and making them all into square shapes. So it's like you're conditioning them to be. So that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I meant by that.
gotcha. Well, see,
But so I mean, it is valid because my family gave my mom a lot of grief when she supported me on being homeschooled, because I went to regular school for elementary and junior high. When I came to high school, we were moving around so much. I'm like, Mom, I'm not like my younger sisters. I cannot make new friends. I can't be the new kid. I was very, very shy, had so much anxiety, but back then I didn't know that it was anxiety. I just thought I was, so I begged her, and she did it for me. But all her siblings, my siblings, everybody was like, no, he needs to go to school. He's going to miss out on so much social interaction. He's going to miss on these experiences. And I'm just like, no.
See, I don't agree with that, because let me tell you, high school sucked.
Oh God.
But I learned a lot of hard lessons. If we're talking in terms of certain things, like I learned a lot of hard lessons. I learned how to read people really well. I learned how to, do a lot of things I shouldn't have known how to do. But I also learned how, because of those lessons, like how to read people. You know what I mean? Like where if you're less exposed, you don't hone those skills.
Yeah, I get
And
you.
that makes it harder, when you get out on your own and, you get railroaded left and right because you just don't know,
Yeah,
somebody
I get
sees
you.
genuine. And that's what one of my sons is going through right now. Like, it's just a mess, but we're going to get there one of these days.
Get there.
Mm.
Do you think any of these techniques you can be taken advantage of?
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Talk about it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Which one? Who are you talking
Both
to?
of you.
Noah?
Sure.
Oh yeah, so like I said about the next level from lucid dreaming is dream hopping. Like you can that's a violation. To go in somebody else's dreams and like I really do believe that is a thing that people can do.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I've never experienced it, but I believe that's something that somebody can do. So yeah, they can go into somebody else's dreams and like see what they're doing or what they're up to, their thoughts, their secrets, and stuff like that. Same thing with remote viewing. You can go see somebody that you shouldn't be seeing.
Right. Right.
So yeah, I definitely think you take advantage of these things.
Yeah. And, you have to have that conversation too, because I'm not, it is what it is. People, it does scare people. It does put people off if the subject comes up, even if they're a witch or spiritual or whatever. And they just kind of look at you like, and I'm like, I would never,
Yeah.
one, I would never go anywhere I wasn't wanted. Two, I'm
Mhm.
not going to go anywhere without permission.
Yes.
Three, like, hello, privacy is a thing, because I wouldn't want
Yeah.
somebody doing that shit.
Exactly. Yes. I
You
extend
know,
the same courtesy that I want. Yep.
right. So, like, why would you immediately, and everybody's brain, I swear, not everybody, but most people's brain immediately go that route. Like, oh, so you just peek at me when I'm in the shower or whatever.
Yeah.
And I feel like clap back, like, yeah, I mean, I could, but
I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, no.
right.
And that's another thing too for why people put up psychic wards, psychic
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
because not only you have physical protections from thievery, criminal activities, weather, whatever it is, but you also have those psychic protections that you need to put up from people trying to invade your space, whether it's astrally or whether it's like people astral projecting a remote viewing or other entities, what kind of spirits, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Space,
Mm-hmm.
different worlds, you need to be protected from.
Right. And you also have to have those conversations.
Right.
That wasn't an easy conversation. Like, I don't even remember how our conversation came about, but like, we had that conversation, and I was like, look, I understand it freaks people out. So I think we were just talking about astral in general, and it kind of
Mhm.
led into everything else. And then we started testing the theory, and then that conversation of like boundaries comes up. Like, you have to have boundaries with people. It doesn't matter how good you know them. People shower, they go to the bathroom, they have private time, they have their own
Mhm.
sexy time. Like, you don't. There's boundaries. If you wouldn't want somebody to do that to you, then you should not be doing that to someone else.
Absolutely agree.
No, 100%.
Welcome back, Rowan.
Hello, is everything okay?
He's
I don't know if
muted.
he knows he's in. I just
If
saw
you
him.
butt dial us.
But do you guys think that any of these can be useful for divination or being able to view the past, present, future? I know Noah, you said like you were able to peep kind of the past with your nephew.
Mhm.
Do you think it can be useful in those kind of tactics?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a good point about deja vu. I feel like so when I think about deja vu, I do see it as a form of divination in a way, but also I believe from my own experiences that we dream every single night, whether we remember it or not. And when we experience deja vu, it's because we're remembering something from one of our dreams. And so I've had so many experiences with deja vu. I'm like, oh my God, you said that before, but it's because I seen it in a dream, or I've seen this place before, I've been here before. You have those moments of deja vu. I could see where people say like, oh, maybe a past life I was here and I recognize it from that, or I've seen it on TV or whatever. But I really think that we do dream every single night. Most times people, when they say they don't dream, it's just because they don't remember, because your dreams do get fuzzy as the day goes on. That's why I always encourage, like, have a dream journal. As soon as you wake up, it takes like 3 minutes to just jot down what you remember. Doesn't have to be pretty, doesn't have to be aesthetic, just write it down because it means something. But yeah, I definitely think you can tie in divination with that. I don't know anything about astral travel, so I can't say.
No, yeah, I'm sure because I think it's possible. Not that I've necessarily done it myself, that I can recall, but astral projection into the future to see what's going on, that you can take back and record and be aware of.
It's part of precognition too. Like you have those dreams, because I've done that, but I think everybody can do that if they're aware. You know, like you know what your paycheck's going to be. You see the paycheck. You know, in the
I've done
dream.
it actually recently, yeah.
Yeah, it happens. But who's to say?
Right. No.
When I was little, I used to have a lot of premonitions. Like my mom was like, "You were
Mhm.
such a lucky kid. Like you were so lucky." And it's like because the majority of the time, like I had seen it, things that I would do and I would like win because I'd seen it before, So premonitions has always been a thing. I wish I could do it now.
I personally, that's one of the gifts that is very continuous in my life is premonitions.
Never lose it. Hold on to it.
Yeah, no.
My last premonition was that semi truck trying to kill me on the
Oh
highway.
my goodness.
Yeah. So.
Let's not do that.
Yeah.
No.
But that's all the questions I pretty much have for this topic. But
they're great questions.
Yeah.
Excellent questions.
This was an awesome chat, honestly. Thank you.
I agree. I had fun tonight.
It was. I like hearing other people because this is not a subject you can talk about with a lot of people, even in the witch community.
Right.
So it's good to open up about it and talk about it among people that might not have the same ability, but have a similar ability. So it's sort of relatable, and it holds the interest of the other person.
And it holds conversation. So.
I like it. This is very good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you, guys. So that is the end to our Cauldron Chat. You can tune in next month on the Dark Moon to see us next time. And thank you, Noah, again for being with us. Crescent Moon, thank you. This was the first Cauldron Chat where you're actually part of the hosting crew. So
thank you.
We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Okay.